Hello, and welcome to Artburn, Calling Out Culture. I'm Rory Harrison Cartwright, and each week I'll be taking a look at a piece of art or culture that I find particularly problematic or troubling and calling it out for the evil, bigoted piece of filth that it obviously is. And then I'll tell you why I'm right. This week, I'm looking at The Birth of Venus by Botticelli, which was painted in the mid-1480s. You might have seen it, I believe it's quite well known. Now on the surface, this painting is a representation of the ancient Greek myth of Aphrodite, or Venus as she was known by the Romans, the goddess of love. And it's an image of her being born, as a fully grown adult, off the coast of Cyprus, and then arriving on land to begin giving people good luck and making them virtuous. That's the kind of thing that she did. However, I've looked at this image a little more deeply, and I have some quite considerable problems with it. Obviously, it shows a shocking lack of diversity, but I think we can all agree about that. Now, what I want you to look at first is the figure of Venus in the middle of the painting. She's standing on what is a giant scallop shell, literally walking all over the environment, which I think sends out a very, very dangerous message about disrespecting the world in which we live. Also notice that she's got long red hair. Now, remember, she's the goddess of beauty. So is Botticelli saying that if you don't have red hair, then you're not beautiful? I know a lot of blonde and brunette people who'd feel particularly marginalised and slighted by such an assertion. Also, see how her long hair is being used to cover up her crotch. Isn't that just a little bit body shaming, as if having a vagina was something that you needed to hide? 77% of the world have them. So who is Botticelli, a man, to say that they shouldn't be seen? He is, however, quite happy to paint an exposed breast, which is clearly there to invoke in the viewer feelings of sexual arousal and gender ownership. Typical Italian. I've added a modesty bar to this part of the image, which I think is 500 years overdue. I have a long-standing issue with nudity in art, which I hope to explore in the coming months. I think a lot of people don't know what naked bodies look like, so they can be quite traumatised when they see one in a museum or an art gallery. I mean, when this was painted in the 15th century, everybody was walking around with no clothes on, but it's 2020 now, and I think we need to be a little bit more responsible. I also have issues with the blank and vacant expression that's on Venus's face. It looks like she hasn't got a thought in her newborn head, which I think just underlines Botticelli's obvious misogyny. I mean, women are CEOs, astronauts, cardiovascular surgeons and influencers, and he blatantly chooses to ignore that. But it doesn't stop there. Look to the left of the painting at the man with wings. He's supposed to represent the wind, and as you can see, he's puffing out his cheeks and blowing her to shore. I find this a worryingly patriarchal representation. Of course Venus couldn't get to shore without being blown there by a man-wind. The woman who's clinging to him, another redhead by the way, is also the wind, but she's more of a light breeze, which I see as Botticelli paying lip service to equality without actually climbing down from the fence and tackling the subject head-on. The rain of pink flowers which you can see showering down from them, while appearing innocuous and gentle, could seriously undermine the idea of art gallery as safe space for those with hay fever, allergies, or any condition that requires the taking of antihistamines, leading to a potentially debilitating and traumatic fit of sneezing. Who thought it was a good idea to hang this on a wall? What I find the most concerning, though, is the figure on the right, who's offering Venus a towel. Her intentions are clearly well-meaning, if a little passive-aggressive, but look at what she's wearing. Aphrodite, or Venus, lived in Greece thousands of years ago. Botticelli was Italian and painting hundreds of years later. What cultural empathy could he possibly have had for the people of ancient Greece? Those figures don't even look a little bit Greek, and although I've never been, the coastline to me looks more European than Mediterranean. The woman who's holding the towel is making no effort whatsoever. She isn't even wearing a toga or some sandals, just a normal dress. Think about it. A 15th century Italian creating a scene of ancient Greek mythology. It's cultural appropriation of the most flagrant kind, which I find almost genocidally irresponsible. Now, this image is everywhere. It's on lunchboxes, phone covers, t-shirts, even hilarious memes, but the messages it gives out are more than just offensive, they're downright evil, and I don't think a responsible society can sanction them anymore. The painting is at the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, and I've emailed them demanding that they shred it, and then ask for the recall of all products bearing its image and prevent its distribution digitally. By preventing people from seeing it, they can help make this fucked up world a better place. When art and culture is done right, it can create work of thought-provoking beauty that delivers many inspiring messages. But when it's done wrong, it needs to be called out and then destroyed. If you're a free thinker who finds a painting, novel, sculpture, piece of music, poem, film, TV show, drawing or light installation offensive, let me know in the comments below and I'll call it out. More from me next week. Peace.